Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Kia Sportage, we're going to be showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver. But before we get into it, take a minute, check this one out, and make sure it's going to work for you. When it comes to the Sportage, I know I personally see people doing a lot of stuff with them, pulling small trailers around. A lot of them out there using bike racks and cargo carriers. And so if it were me and I was wanting to put a trailer hitch back here, I'd want something that'll be able to handle just about anything you throw at it. And with a setup like this, it's going to allow you to do just that. I do like the way this hitch looks. For the most part, it's going to be hidden. You're just going to be able to see the receiver tube opening. And I like the finish of the CURT, especially on this particular vehicle. The CURT hitch has a gloss black, and the bottom of our bumper is painted gloss black. I think it matches really well. And looks good. Compared to some of the other hitches, really that finish is going to be the major difference. The eTrailer one has more of a matte black finish, which I'm a fan of in most cases. A lot of the other styles of plastic or more of that matte color, and the eTrailer hitches match really well with those. And then the draw tight is kind of somewhere in the middle, has more of a semi-gloss finish. So a couple options to choose from as far as what one you think is going to look the best on your Kia. The hitch is going to have a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, so a ton of different accessories will work with it. It is going to use the 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind though, one doesn't come with the hitch. If you need one, you can always get it here at eTrailer. And a lot of times if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with one, so something to pay attention to there. As far as the safety chain openings go, loop style, so pretty much standard. And they're large enough to allow you to use just about any size hook that your trailer might have on it. And there is a big question that I want to address. It seems like a lot of people ask about fitment when it comes to the different types of submodels. And with this particular hitch, it's going to fit all of them, from the base model all the way up until the fully loaded model, everything in between, and even the hybrids. As far as the weight capacities go, the hitch is going to have a 525-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating, which is a pretty good number, and that's enough to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier. Give you an example there. And for the maximum gross trailer weight rating, that's going to be 3,500 pounds. That's the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. That is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have in or on it. I do always like to recommend though, never a bad idea to grab your Kia's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your SUV can handle that much weight safely. We'll grab a couple measurements now, and these will help us figure out what type of accessories will work best. If we go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, taking into account the lift that we're parked on, that's going to be about 15 inches. So for those of you pulling a trailer, you can probably use a ball mount that has a straight shank or maybe even a slight rise, inch or two. And if you're using accessories like a bike rack, let's say, you'd be fine if it had a straight shank, or if it has a rise in it too, even better, give you a little more ground clearance. If we go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 6 inches, and you can use that measurement to help figure out exactly if any of those folding style accessories you might have can be stored upright without hitting the back of your Kia. At the end of the day though, personally, I think the hitch looks really good on the back of the Sportage, and good all around hitch, you really can't go wrong with. As far as the installation goes, really not too bad. There's a couple small panels underneath that you lower and get them removed to give you some room to get the hitch up in place. And when you do that, the nuts are already in the frame there, and you just thread bolts in, and that's how it's secured. So shouldn't really give you too many issues or take up a bunch of your time. But with that said, let me go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Kia, and the very first thing that we're going to need to do is remove this plastic underbody panel here in the middle. Along this edge of the panel, we're going to have a total of 4 push-pin style fasteners. To get these out, you can just take a flathead screwdriver, pry down on the head of it, pull the whole thing out. We'll just work our way down here. And then along the front side, there's going to be some different types of fasteners a total of 3 of them, and these are just plastic nuts. You can take a 14mm socket, and I just put an extension on it and just do these by hand. And these are going to stay connected to the panel. We're just releasing them from the little metal studs that are coming down. And sometimes too, you might have to apply a little bit of downward pressure there to get them to release. Once we drop this down, we can set it to the side as we will not be reinstalling it. Moving over here to the passenger side, we're going to have another small underbody panel, and we'll get that out of our way. Just 2 push pins. They're along the edge. And then 2 more of the plastic nuts, just like in the center there. Get them loosened up. And we'll get this one dropped down. Once the hitch is up though, this one will be getting reinstalled. Moving to our frame rails, we can go over our attachment points and things like that. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of the vehicle, we're also going to do to the other side. So it'll be set up the exact same way. We have a rubber plug in the bottom of our frame rail, so we're going to pop that out and get it removed. And then if you happen to have any, sealer that dropped off or anything on the bottom, just scrape that off, get the frame rail cleaned up so it don't interfere with our trailer hitch. This one is pretty good shape, but we're going to have 3 attachment points, and they're just factory weld nuts. So you have this one here, and these 2 on the side. And not a bad idea to clean them out. If you can spray some penetrating oil in there or something, use a brush, just in case if there's any grime or debris or a little bit of surface rust. They'll be clean and our hardware will go in more easily. As far as the hardware combination goes, it's going to be the same for all of our attachment points. You're going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. When you put the washer on, make sure that the teeth are facing this way. So when you actually thread this in, the teeth will be facing up towards the hitch. And the way everything will work, we'll hold the hitch up, line up the holes in it with our attachment points, and then these are just going to thread right into the frame. If you can get someone to help you with this part, it makes it much easier, a lot more manageable, but we're going to take the hitch and raise it into position. We'll have to kind of go up and over the exhaust pipe there. I'll get it lined up. Take the hardware combination we talked about and get it started hand tight. With this hitch being kind of a tight fit, you might have to work it a little bit to get these holes to line up. And if you're really struggling with it, if it's too tight, you can always snug this down to help draw it up into place. With all the hardware in place and hand tight, we can come back with a 17mm size socket and snug everything down. And don't forget to come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. Now we can reinstall the passenger side underbody panel the opposite way that we removed it. And with that done, that will finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2024 Kia Sportage.